Back to another video. Today I'll be reacting to Mom Horrified after 12-year-old son's confession. So so why am I reacting to this? Well, if you may ask, I told Emmy as my friend to to react to it, but they couldn't. So I decided for myself I was gonna react to it so they can see for themselves. So enough talking and let's get into this video, shall we?
When they pull this GPS, will it show that you were at home in your bed or will it show that you were somewhere else? That's the question that was asked. You don't know?
That's serious. You give our family what I was to do.
Robert, you don't understand that you're just as guilty if you know who did it and you're not saying nothing. That's guilty by association.
Snitching on everybody. If I was gonna get charged, why did you make me say?
I said I don't know.
When the bodies of 3 teenagers were discovered over a period of several days in the same neighborhood in Marion County, Florida, the police didn't know what to think. This would set the tone for the rest of the case, as the emerging suspects all seemed intent on blaming each other. The identity of the alleged perpetrator, along with the motive for the heartless murders, turned out to be more alarming than anyone wanted to believe. The police first learned that something was terribly wrong just before midnight on March 30th, 2023, when they received this 911 call.
There's a girl laying in front of my road and she's dying.
Okay, is she awake?
She's dying, I don't know. She's bleeding out of her head. She's gargling on her blood.
You need to turn her on her side so she doesn't choke, okay?
It doesn't matter what side, like on what side?
No, just turn her on her side so she doesn't choke on the blood, okay?
Oh, God.
Is she awake?
No,
Okay, is she breathing?
she's breathing. Do you know how far they are?
I don't have an ETA, but they are on the way, okay?
Deputies from the Marion County Sheriff's Department arrived moments before the ambulance. While paramedics rushed to try to save the victim, the deputies tried to get a grasp on the chaotic scene. Within 5 minutes of the ambulance arriving, the victim was on her way to the nearest hospital. The Sheriff's Department was left to pick apart the seemingly inexplicable scene.
She's not responsive? No, not responsive. No, there's no ID, no nothing.
Young girl, older girl?
Younger girl. Yeah, she was right there and she moved.
She was right there, right?
Yeah.
My goodness, this is
There's
sad.
blood everywhere. I was not expecting that.
No. Well, I thought it was gonna be BS, honestly.
Yeah, I immediately thought she had got, like, hit by a car. And I seen the big, but I've never seen an exit wound in a head.
Yeah.
I
you see
wasn't
it?
aware. Oh, yeah. She's laying down. It's all pulled out. I mean, it was
And she was still breathing?
rapid breathing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Medic said she ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, if she did, that's wild.
When police made contact with the 911 caller, they learned that he was just as confused about the situation as the deputies. He only became aware that something was amiss when he got a call from his neighbor across the street.
You didn't hear nothing
She
at all?
told me it sounded like someone crashed into my dumpster and then there was like 2 shots.
The neighbor in question made her way over to talk to the deputies directly. Unfortunately, what she said only served to make the situation even more mysterious.
So, around what time did you hear? You said it sounded like a gun, like a...
Yeah, it wasn't a loud gunshot. I would say about 20, 30 minutes ago. It wasn't a loud gunshot, but I heard about 4 or 5. And I kind of blew it off casually, and then I just looked out my window because I did think it was strange with it, how late it was. And I saw the car run into the dumpster. And once I seen the car run into the dumpster, I stepped out my door, and I seen a man run out of the car towards down the road, towards my yard, and I yelled at him, "What are you doing?" And then I seen him run back towards the car, take a minute, and I was calling him because it was his dumpster, and I seen him skirt off into the neighborhood.
Did you see if anybody was in? Was it only one? Was there
I
several
only
people?
seen one person running, and it was a male. It had a male figure, had a hat on. I want to say he was like 5 foot, maybe, but it was only one dude running down the road.
This once again tracked with the evidence, as police found several sets of footprints at the scene.
Did you hear the crash first, or did you hear what sounded
I
like
heard the gunshots first.
Where did
The deputies closed down the main entrances and exits to the Forest Lakes Park neighborhood, hoping to catch the alleged shooter as he attempted to flee. Unfortunately, the area was heavily wooded, with plenty of places to hide and lots of back roads. This made for a difficult search for police, and an easy getaway for the alleged perpetrator.
It's not good.
Meanwhile, the hospital where the victim was being treated was able to provide some help in that regard. They identified the girl as 16-year-old Layla Silvernail. Her grandparents, who were her legal guardians, were understandably distraught. Detectives first made contact with her grandfather, Kenneth.
Layla was found, she was apparently with a gunshot wound, and she was taken to the hospital. So that's part of the reason why we came here, was to let you know about her status, but we also wanted to know any information that you had about who she was with yesterday, who she hanged out with.
What's she in the hospital for?
She had a gunshot wound.
Huh? She was shot. You're kidding.
No, that's what I told you when
This
I
is what I've been trying to tell you, hanging around with a crew.
Kenneth hurried to the back of the house to get his wife, Lisa. Layla's grandmother only seemed to become more distressed when the detectives tried to ask
Yeah,
her
you can get a better
questions.
view of her now.
Lisa, come here.
I just have bad quality of this thing I record on.
Will she be okay? She will be in the hospital. I don't know anything. That's not Lisa. I'm the victim advocate, okay? I'm here for you. Have a seat for us. We need some information so we can find out who did this, okay?
I'd like to know too.
We need...
go and I will shoot their asses. So no.
Lisa, listen now.
Where was she shot at? Does anybody know anything?
She was shot in the head. That's all we have right now, okay?
Oh my god. This is just really sad, bro.
The situation was actually more horrifying than Lisa knew. Early on March 31st, the morning after the shooting, the police stumbled upon the last thing they were expecting. Just blocks away from the crime scene where Layla was found, police discovered a second victim, also suffering from a gunshot wound. There was little doubt that the two cases were connected, which made the search for the shooter all the more urgent. Back with Layla's grandparents, the detectives desperately tried to find out who might have been with Layla that night. Since they'd already found two victims, they had to wonder if more of her friends were hurt, or in danger too.
Lisa, look at me. Who was she with yesterday?
She came here with, and I'm gonna tell you everything, because I don't like the people she hangs around with anyway.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Lisa said Layla was almost always with her boyfriend, 17-year-old Michael Hodo. She also directed the police to Layla's best friend, who might have more information about her activities the day before the shooting. Another name came up too, and it was one police were already familiar with.
And then that runaway girl, Camille,
Okay.
she was with her too yesterday.
Camille Quarles, 16, had been reported as a runaway by her aunt and legal guardian several weeks prior. It was an open secret that she'd been staying with Layla at her grandparents' house, but no one had successfully brought her home yet. When police made contact with Camille's aunt, Amy, she was not shy about expressing her frustration with the investigation.
I did call it in this morning to ask somebody to go through there, and nobody has called me back. I've called 5 or 6 times a day since she's been gone.
Even worse, Amy's son was hearing all kinds of gossip about the case at school. People were saying Camille had also been shot. The names of the victims and the location of the crime was seemingly common knowledge. Disturbingly, police had not yet confirmed if Camille was involved. Also, they'd not yet released the names of the victims or the location, which meant whoever was spreading this information had to be involved.
And there was another body discovered this morning in that neighborhood.
Okay.
I don't want to know if it's my child.
Okay, the second person is not Camille. I can't identify who that person is, but it's not her.
The identity of the second victim only made the case more dire, especially in regards to Camille's safety. Frustratingly, the police were still in the dark about most of the lead up to the crime. up until they got in touch with Layla's best friend, Gabby. She was more forthcoming and told the detectives that she'd spent the day with Layla and her boyfriend, Michael Hodo, and several other teens who would soon become an integral part of the case.
Was there anybody else in the car other than you, Layla, anytime during the day?
Camille was there.
This was the second statement placing Camille at the scene of the crime, but disturbingly, there was still no sign of her. Prior to the shooting, Camille's aunt said she'd caught sight of her at the park once or twice, and kept a close eye on her Instagram feed to see what she was up to. Since the night of the 30th, though, it had been radio silence. Back with the detectives, Layla's friend recounted their travels throughout the day, and who else was with the group.
We went to Rob's. We went to, like, I don't know if it's abandoned. Do you know what a trap house is?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently, this kid Rob, I don't know him personally, but they do.
Okay.
They're like friends or whatever, and we went over there and we chilled over there.
Significantly, Gabby said that Layla had been the one driving all day, but the only sign of her vehicle, a white Chevy Cruze, was a tire track left at the crime scene. The police hoped that finding the vehicle would offer some insight into what happened the night Layla was shot.
Do you know his last name or anything else about Rob?
No, I don't really know if Rob is like his real name or not, because I know some people know him as Reaper Rob and stuff like
Reaper
that.
Rob is
Was anyone else
crazy.
there at the house besides the three of you and Rob?
Well, there was this kid 3-5, but I don't know his real name.
What's 3-5 look like?
I don't know. He's 12. He's a little
Is
kid.
it 12-year-old?
12 years old.
They needed to track down Rob
12
at
years
35. They started with Rob, who they believed to be 17-year-old Robert Robinson, who was already incarcerated at a juvenile
Jeez.
detention facility for a different offense. When detectives asked him about 3-5, he directed them to a boy named Christopher Atkins. Shockingly, Gabby was right. He was only 12 years old. Since Chris and Rob were both minors, their mothers were asked to join them at the police station before any conversations took place. Chris's mother, Ashley, was the first to arrive.
I don't understand. Where the hell is my son? If he being questioned, why I'm not in there? What's taking so long? Where's my son?
He's in the room right here.
Me talking to him?
Not yet. No, they're all getting their stuff together.
It seemed she wasn't convinced they weren't already questioning him, because Ashley did her best to hear what was going on in the other room. After almost 2 hours of waiting, she was finally escorted to the next room to join Chris, who was visibly trembling.
Can I put this on her? Sure. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Do you want another jacket?
Okay.
Are you sure? You look like you're cold. Let me get you.
You say you have 4 siblings? Okay. You guys get along okay in the house?
Taxes was.
Sorry about these ads, guys. I don't have YouTube Premium.
Wondering.
The detectives set about gradually breaking the ice with Chris, all the time appearing hyper-aware that he was only 12 years old. After taking all necessary precautions, like making both Chris and his mother aware of their rights, and establishing on record that Chris knew the difference between right and wrong, they finally got to the issue at hand.
So, Chris, what I'd like to start with talking to you about is, and like I said, I just want you to be honest with us. I'd like you to talk to me about last Thursday night.
First, we made him eat, then we watched TV, and I went to sleep for a little bit, and I heard something outside. I opened the door. There was nothing outside now. I think I went to sleep.
So I think what you just told me was what you probably had rehearsed in your mind several times to tell a police officer if you ever had to talk about that Thursday night. Because sitting here and talking to you with your mom here crying and knowing that you have these siblings, you're probably in sort of an embarrassing and shameful position. If you are sorry for what happened, repent for it and start from the very beginning and go to the very end without me having to pull it from you. Because somebody that I have to pull each individual action from, that tells me that they don't really want to say what they did wrong, that they don't feel bad for it.
Reaper down there has been super honest.
he, it took him a minute to get comfortable with me, and he's told me everything down to details that only he would know, and
nobody else would know.
Some of the details, he points finger at you.
17-year-old Rob, also known by the concerning moniker Reaper, was also being questioned. Just like Chris, Rob and his mom Erica were both advised of their Miranda rights before the interrogation commenced.
I'm trying to bring the best way to say this to you guys. We're investigating several different incidents that occurred over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
One being a theft of side-by-side. One being the theft of, a burglary. Investigating a robbery. And we're investigating a murder. Okay?
Murder?
Mm-hmm. The first ones you named is believable. The last one.
Hold on, let me turn the camera around to make sure you don't think I'm laughing at all.
Okay, who were you with? Did anybody come over? Did we hang out with anybody? Did you go anywhere with anybody?
Like, this is just sad. Like, I do not.
We're just chilling. Literally, like we're just chilling.
Okay. Was anybody with?
Like, I am not laughing at all.
At the time.
You may think I turn my camera around to make sure you don't think I'm laughing. I'm telling you, that is not it. I promise. I just don't like showing my face at all. So I'm gonna just turn the camera around, and we're gonna continue.
17-year-old Michael used. Michael's father had last seen him about 6:30 last night, around the same time Gabby said she parted ways with the group. Landon was another local boy who police determined didn't know anything that would aid the investigation. As for the unnamed girl, the police likely wondered if she could be the missing Camille, and why she hadn't been seen or heard from since.
Did you go anywhere after 6:30, Rob?
Oh, why do y'all keep
asking? Okay. I just
keep asking because we've been working on our investigation.
What do y'all think happened, bro? I'm telling you,
You understand
that night. Like I only seen Sosa one time that day.
Rob, we know you were out of the house after 6:30. Okay? We know you were with around 7 o'clock p.m.
Thanks to CCTV footage, police believed that Rob, along with others in the friend group, had been involved in the theft of a vehicle and an armed robbery that night.
Dude.
As serious as these crimes were, they paled in comparison to what police believed happened later. Back in the room with Chris, his mother tried to make him understand the severity of the situation.
Well, you need to tell. If you ain't,
now's the time.
Now's the whole story.
Now's the
You know
time
you
to
left
get
out of the house Thursday when I told you not to. And you finna speak. You better talk right now. Reaper's already told us what the plan was that night. So there's, I mean, we know what the original plan was. We're asking you now to be honest and to come forth and tell us what happened and why it happened.
He knocked on the window.
When you say he, I never want to guess. Who is he?
Reaper, aka Rob, took a lot of convincing before he opened up.
Rob, right now you're protecting KTM and your buddies. You need to think about protecting yourself.
The disturbing meaning behind KTM will be revealed in due time. For now, the fact that the police knew about the mysterious phrase was enough to get Rob talking, albeit reluctantly.
Who was at that house?
When you were with, who was with y'all?
It was me. 3-5.
Mm-hmm.
Layla was there. And that was it.
The police knew by now that there were more people at the house than just Chris, Rob, Michael, and Layla.
Did you go anywhere with them that night?
No, I ain't go nowhere with them. I just told you. I went, I swear to God, was at the house. They said they was finna leave. I went back home. Actually, Mom, I didn't come in until like late. I didn't come in until after 7 anyways.
You don't know what time you came home. Now,
but they talking about what now Mulaka at 7:10.
What I'm saying is you don't know what time you came home because you defy your curfew so much. You don't know what time you came in. It might have been 8 o'clock. It might have been 7:30. It might have, you know what I'm saying? So you don't know. What trying to get out of you, I don't give a who your friends are, who you trying to protect. I gotta get to work. And I'm sick of dealing with this jail. Could you choose to have friends? You need to be honest.
Unfortunately for Rob, the police already knew that
My mom's fed up with him.
the dark details of what he got up to that night.
What about his cell phone? Do you own that phone?
Yeah, I own that phone. So do you all want permission to check the location?
That
on
would
that
be
phone?
great, yeah.
No.
That would
What
be
do you
great.
mean no?
Oh, they can check my phone. They might find
They're not looking in your phone for anything else.
So you're certain that your phone GPS...
Hold on, what do you mean they'll find something? See, you're a part of it. So you're just lying to them.
So we gon' no.
I can just tell you, I really don't know nothing about no murder. That is the truth. I don't know nothing about no murder, and I was not there with no murder.
That's not what they asked though. That's not what they asked. What they asked was,
Oh, I gotta sneeze real quick.
when they pull this GPS, will it show that you were at home or will it show
Bless me.
that you were
Sorry
somewhere
about that.
else? That's the question that was asked. You don't know?
I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like, I'm telling you stuff.
They want you to tell them lying, and I'm telling them the truth. And you're sitting there going with them. Why are you believing them? They're not your son. Stop believing them. Oh, no, I was not there. Like, I didn't say I was not there. You were there. First and foremost. You sitting there just believing everything I was saying. First and foremost, you lied so much, I don't know what to believe would come down your mouth. You didn't burn the bridge that's been gone. Let's get that understood. Like, I was like, but what I'm saying is, you so quick to want to protect people and let me finish. You so
Yo.
quick to want to protect people, don't want to snitch,
Talk to him, Ma.
be cool this and cool that,
Tell him.
and not be known
Tell him.
is in the paperwork and all of this, that you're willing to sit here and go down for murder that I know you didn't do. I know for a fact that you didn't do it. But you're going to be guilty by association because you don't want to tell who the did it. That's the problem.
I did not kill nobody. I did not kill nobody.
Did somebody you know do it?
Like, what the
No, I don't know nothing about no murder. I don't know nothing about no murder.
And if you lying, you standing on this island by yourself. Because if you got something to tell these people, because they have a way to tell if you're lying.
The best way to tell if Rob was lying was Chris, who was still in the room next door. He was sharing a bit more than Rob, and some key differences in their statements stood out already.
What do you think he's going to tell us, Robert?
He's not gonna, with me, I swear to God, he's not gonna, I didn't do anything. I promise you I didn't do anything. Who did?
I don't understand why you keep lying. And then you go back.
It's gonna be a snitch. And then it matter. Kill me. It don't matter. That is a snitch and I will die. This is not no joke. You would die. Like, you would die for snitching out here. People die for that. Real talk. Obama people get bumped and killed for snitching.
We're talking about life sentences.
He's not lying. Listen, he's not lying. But it's still the best way to just tell and, just de-escalate the situation. It won't make things much worse.
Slowly killing me. I should just let me talk. I'm supposed to be at work right now. I just took a promotion. I can't keep missing work. All the that you are doing or the people you hang with or just any of that. Like, I don't know if you know or not, but they threatened me with contempt of court because I don't come to none of your court stuff that you got going on. I make sure you get there, but I cannot keep missing work. And you sitting here in my face telling me that you don't want to snitch because your life is they gonna kill you in the house. You don't know.
It wasn't me.
I didn't say
nobody. They trying to get me if I said
I didn't say that you killed anyone. Robert, you don't understand that you're just as guilty if you know who did it and you're not saying nothing. That's guilty by association.
Tell him.
Like, what part of that is not clicking for you? If you know who killed these kids, then you need to tell him.
Some part of this tirade must have made an impression, because at long last, Rob shared his
Taj killed all three of them.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Were you there?
The whole story?
Were you there?
The whole story.
Let him talk.
I'll say the whole story.
Tell me the whole story.
Rob just mentioned 3 victims, but the detectives had so far only asked him about 2. Not only did this grab their attention, but they likely suspected that the Taj that Rob mentioned was 16-year-old Taj Bruton, with whom they were already acquainted due to previous cases. Unfortunately, this didn't mean they knew where to find him. Several weeks earlier, Taj cut off his ankle monitor and went on the run. The detectives would focus on this after they got more of the story from Chris, who picked up the story after he said Rob, aka Reaper, knocked on his window.
Okay, Reaper knocks on the window. He knocks on the window. He said, "Come on, we finna go chase the girls or something." Then we went out, and this girl and the boy picked us up. I don't know the wood. This girl and this boy described.
From Rob's statement, the police believed this had to be Michael and Layla. He made no mention of Camille, however, even when he explained where everyone was sitting in Layla's car. The seating arrangement would be crucial later. Layla was driving. Michael was in the passenger seat, while Chris and Rob were in the back seat. But they weren't alone.
Then somebody came in the car. I don't know his name. It was like somebody in all black. Okay. And how does this person look? I know you said he's wearing dark colored clothes, right? I heard you say that. Ski mask on too.
I'm telling you what, if somebody got in the car wearing a ski mask, I'd be like, what is going on?
But that didn't appear to be Chris's response, and the detectives likely had a horrible inkling as to why.
Yeah, I looked at Rob. I was like,
Bro, if someone gets in a car with me and has a ski mask, I'm jumping and running away, man. Like, what?
Throughout his interrogation,
Like, I ain't trying to get
only referred to the
involved
man the
in that
ski
type of
mask as
situation like
Chris's
that.
man. Luckily,
Dangerous
Rob had
situation.
already revealed the identity of their companion.
We pick up Taj. As soon as Taj came out, that was the first thing he told me. Like, we knocking on. We knocking on. I was like, nah, bro, I ain't even trying to do all that.
It took a little more persuading, but Rob eventually told the police that they could find Taj at his girlfriend's house. They picked him up and brought him to the station after they finished talking to Chris and Rob. But instead of clearing up the questions detectives had, Taj made everything more confusing. He said everything was Rob's idea.
I'm sitting right next to him. In my, like, he whispered in my ear, he was like, bro, I'm finna rob these tonight, bro. I look at him like, what you mean you finna rob these tonight? He's like, bro, so saying Layla, bro, they got a pound of weed, they got some money, bro. And if they don't,
Right, but you're the one who came in with a
that's
ski
exactly what he
mask.
said. At this point, I'm frantic. If I can't, like, if I tell Sosa, right, Rob's sitting right next to me, so therefore he's gonna shoot me. So I'm sitting here, I'm scared as hell, so I'm like, I ain't got no choice but to just sit here and just, it is what it is.
Rob told detectives that it was the other way around.
It was so random. Like, he just said he wanted to knock him off. I'm not thinking he's serious, though. Like, at the time, when he first said it, if you would have seen his face, like he was laughing. Like, if I would have really thought he was finna kill, like, I wouldn't have got back in that car. I would have stayed right there and called my mom and be like, can you come get me? I didn't think he was serious until when the car started slowing down and I seen him up the gun.
Rob said that Taj did this because he wanted to take Michael's firearm. Over in Chris's interrogation room, his story aligned with Rob's, for now.
What triggered him to just start shooting? I'm trying to figure out. It's something in between that you're not saying.
Because I think the person, yeah, the white guy, I think he said he had a lot of money or something.
Oh, so it was set up as a robbery. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So they were setting up the robbery in.
Did Reaper mention that to you? That something was going to be set up or anything?
He didn't even know. All I heard was pound, and I thought somebody was shooting at us, so I hopped out the car and ran.
I'm looking. Boom! Boom!
Once again, Taj's version was a little different.
3-5 shot at Sosa. Boom. Layla got shot by Rob because that was diagonal. It was crazy.
Just like that. It took 2 shots. It wasn't no more than that. It took 2 shots to kill both of them.
The police knew at least part of this was true. Who shot who was yet to be determined. But tragically, they'd confirmed the second victim as Layla's boyfriend, Michael Hodo. He was in the grass by the side of the road, just blocks away from Layla. He was deceased when police found him. Michael's father had a heartbreaking reaction when he found out that his son would not be coming home.
My son's dead, isn't he? I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. Can they come back out here and help? We have to talk. We have to find this out. Who's to find this? This is to go find out who did this to him.
Hold on, let me pause it for a sec. I got something to tell y'all. So earlier, I was basically watching someone react to this as well. And you know how like they have like that live chat thing on the screen, like when you look at the side? Yeah. So someone said wump wump when they kept going about the story. He literally said wump wump. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how would you feel if you were in this situation? Like, if you were the parent, like, yeah, if you were the parent, you would be devastated. You wouldn't be saying womp womp. You're just saying that because you're a teenager that's just ignorant and don't know what is really going on. You don't know how you really feel because you weren't there. So you just sit behind the screen and you just making complaints like this. Y'all need to grow. Listen, you need to grow up and stop doing this type of. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. Let's get back to this video.
While Michael's family reeled from the devastating news, Chris continued with his upsetting story.
Some
about
people,
Michael's
man.
Final moments.
And you said he shot this white guy first?
Yeah, the white guy was like sitting like this.
Where'd he shoot him at?
Like right here.
And the gun was pressed up against his head? Is that what you're?
I think it was like.
Okay. And then, what about the white girl that's driving? Tell me about that.
He turned the gun and shot her.
Where'd he shoot her at?
I don't know.
Rob agreed, which would soon become increasingly rare.
Where did he shoot Layla?
I think it was headshots.
On the other hand, Taj put the blame back on his two companions.
I know he shot Sosa in the back of the head. I seen that happen. I seen Rob try to shoot her, right? And when he tried to shoot her, he shot her, and then his gun didn't go off, so he reloaded it again and shot her.
All contradictions temporarily aside, Chris added another disturbing detail.
Did he see it coming?
No, it was like to the back of his head.
Okay. Did he have any time to defend himself?
No, but Taj just upped it and shot him in the head.
At this point, police were still searching Forest Lakes Park for evidence. Now that they knew the shooting had occurred in Layla's